The Israelites were trapped. They had fled from Egypt, leaving behind a life of slavery and oppression. But now, their newfound freedom seemed to be slipping away. Fear and panic spread among them as they realized the dire situation they were in. Mountains rose high on either side, forming an impenetrable barrier. The rugged terrain was impossible to climb, and the steep cliffs loomed ominously over them, adding to their sense of entrapment. The sea stretched out before them, vast and unyielding. The waves crashed against the shore, a reminder of the insurmountable obstacle that lay ahead. There was no way to cross it, no bridge, no boat, nothing. There was nowhere to go. The Israelites were trapped in a confined space with no exit. Desperation set in as they searched for a way out, but every path seemed blocked. Behind them, they heard a fearsome sound. The ground trembled with the approach of Pharaoh's army. The clatter of chariots and the marching of soldiers grew louder, filling the air with dread. Pharaoh and his army were coming. Moses raised his staff with determination, his face set with resolve. He knew that only a miracle could save them now. He cried out to God, "Save your people." The people were afraid, their hearts filled with fear and uncertainty. They prayed with urgency, hoping for divine intervention. They had just escaped from Egypt, a land of bondage and suffering. Their journey to freedom had been fraught with challenges, but they had persevered. Now, it seemed, their struggle was far from over. Now, it seemed, they would be captured again. The fear of returning to slavery loomed large, and the thought of being caught and punished was unbearable. "Do not be afraid," Moses said, his voice calm and reassuring. He spoke with authority, his words a beacon of hope in the midst of chaos. "Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 14:13. His confidence inspired the people, and they began to believe that deliverance was possible, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The ground shook with the pounding of horses' hooves. Chariots rumbled closer, their wheels cutting through the sand with a relentless force. The air was thick with the sound of war cries and the clattering of weapons. Pharaoh's army was very close. The Israelites trembled, their hearts pounding in their chests. They could see the dust cloud rising from the approaching chariots, and fear gripped them tightly. They could hear the shouts of the soldiers, the fierce commands echoing across the desert. The sound was terrifying, a reminder of the danger that was rapidly closing in on them. They could see the glint of sun on spears and armor. The soldiers' armor shone brightly, a stark contrast to the fear in the eyes of the Israelites. They were surrounded with no apparent escape. "We are going to die!" they cried out in despair. The fear was palpable, spreading like wildfire among the crowd. But amidst the chaos, Moses stood firm, his presence a beacon of hope. He knew that God would save them. His faith was unshakable, and his confidence gave strength to those around him. Moses believed that deliverance was near, and that belief was their only hope. A mighty wind howled across the sea, the water churned and bubbled. Then with a crash like thunder, the sea split in two. Two walls of water rose high on either side. The seabed was dry. A path opened up through the middle of the sea. The Israelites gasped in wonder. It was a miracle. "Go through the sea!" Moses cried. His voice echoed with a mix of urgency and faith, urging the Israelites to trust in the miraculous path that had been opened before them. The Israelites hesitated for a moment. Fear and doubt clouded their minds as they gazed at the towering walls of water on either side. Could they really trust this path? Then, they stepped onto the dry seabed. Each step was a testament to their faith as they moved forward, leaving behind the life of slavery. They walked through the sea with walls of water towering on either side. The sight was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a true marvel of divine intervention. Behind them, Pharaoh's army charged into the sea. The sound of hooves and shouts filled the air as the soldiers pursued relentlessly, but the walls of water crashed down. The mighty force of the sea returned with a vengeance, swallowing everything in its path. Pharaoh and his army were swept away. The once formidable force was no match for the power of the sea. The Israelites were safe on the other side. Relief washed over them as they realized they had escaped the clutches of their oppressors. They sang and danced with joy. Their hearts were filled with gratitude and praise for the miraculous deliverance they had witnessed. They knew that God had saved them. Their faith had been rewarded, and they were now free to start a new chapter in their lives. "With God, nothing is impossible," they cried. Their voices rang out in unison, a powerful declaration of faith and hope for the future.